Ready? Okay. Good evening, and thank you for coming. I'm Nicole McGillis, Communication Specialist at the Green River Chamber of Commerce, and I will be your host for this evening. Tonight's community forum will be broadcasted on the Sweetwater County School District Number 2 YouTube channel. Tonight's community forum will be the final forum of the 3 forums that were held. These forums are a platform in which intend to allow the opportunity for the district patrons, staff, and community members to hear comments from the candidates that have been selected for the Sweetwater County School District's Number 2 Superintendent position. This is not an attempt to embarrass or badger the candidate, rather an opportunity to educate the community. The agenda for the first portion will run as follows. The candidate will be given exactly 5 minutes to tell the community who they are and why they are interested in the position. When the candidate has given their opening statement, we will begin the second portion of the forum. Now, I would like to introduce the candidate for this evening's forum, Annette Walters. You will have 5 minutes for your introduction. I will keep track of your time. When I raise the yellow card, you'll have 30 seconds to finish. And then when I raise the red one, you'll need to be finished. So now I'll turn the time over to the candidate for their introduction.
Okay. I am Annette G. Walters. I've been in education for well over 2 decades. I've had the opportunity to teach at every level from pre-K, here it's JK, all the way through college. I have been instrumental in education at the pre-K level, elementary, middle school, high school, and as I said, college. I've done virtual as well, special ed, gen ed, basic skills instruction, students with special needs, so all the gamut. I have degrees, which are not really, I think, relevant now, but in educational leadership management and policy, special education, exceptional student. I have worked as an assistant superintendent. I've also worked as district testing coordinator, director of people personnel services, nursing coordinator, and several other aspects. Most of my leadership has been in the state of New Jersey, where they have over 597 school districts. So at that level, we get to do a lot of a little, right? So a lot of everything. I have worked in the state of Virginia, I've worked in Maryland, and I have chosen to make my next step here in Wyoming, and especially in Sweetwater, just because of what I have read and learned thus far.
The second portion of this evening will be dedicated to the questions from the panel. The candidate will have 3 minutes to answer each question. After we are done with the questions, the candidate will have 5 minutes for closing remarks. We will now begin with questions. We would like to thank everyone who submitted questions online. Some of the questions cannot be considered due to being geared towards only one candidate. Each panelist will ask a total of 2 questions. We will start with panelist number 1 and move down the line. And then we'll circle back to panelist number 1 for them to start asking their second question. Once again, I'll be keeping track of your time. When I raise the yellow card, that means you have 30 seconds to finish your answer to your question. And then when I raise the red card, you will need to be finished.
Good evening, Dr. Walters, and welcome to Green River. My name is Joel Levis. I'm the Director of Business Development for Industrial Systems Consulting. We do provide workforce solutions for the mining, energy, and manufacturing industries. I'm also the president of the Southwest Wyoming Manufacturing Partnership, which is an industry-led organization that works with education to help bridge the workforce gap for students. Our first question for you today is, how do you envision the future of Wyoming's education systems? What steps would you take to prepare our district for these changes?
I'll answer the back first. So the last part of that, in preparing students for the workforce and for life, it's really a community effort. So with that, we need to know the values of the community, how we could not only tailor what we're focusing on, but to ensure that the community is represented in the instruction of their children and the students, which is here. It's also encompassing the vision of the board and where we're going with that, taking information from administrators as well, and most certainly information from all staff to ensure that they're valued and that we have a true representation of where we're going forward with not only students, but the community as a whole. The first part about envisioning the future of Wyoming's educational system, I dare to say that Wyoming has one of the best educational system in the country. So where we're going, that would be just to be like the leaders in the educational system across the United States. Very fortunate here in Sweetwater is that from what I have researched has surpassed the state standards. So that would be just a continuing on that realm to ensure that we're not only at the cutting edge of setting the standards for the state, but to continue to align, I would say, educational excellence as it is with the state mandates, if that answers the question.
Hello, my name is Kelly Davis, and I'm the branch manager of Y-Hi Federal Credit Union here in Green River, and I'm also serving on the board for the chamber. My question for you is, describe your leadership style. How does your leadership style foster collaboration among staff, teachers, and administrators?
I believe in servant leadership. So by that, it's not only just being there to serve, especially in education. That's what we're called to do. I consider education to be that we're entrusted with folks' most valuable possession, and not only possession, but their most valuable thing that they could ever have, their children, right? We have the opportunity to look at the future, to see what that is through our engagement every day with the students that we have. So I take it very seriously. What does that mean to be a servant leader? It means that you're listening, not only to the community, but most certainly to the administrators, to staff, and to students, which I got the opportunity to do earlier today when I visited the high school. So all of those things are invested into being a servant leader, to ensure that people get what they need, to ensure that you're providing not only professional development, but supports so that they in turn could support students. It's recognizing staff at every opportunity that you can, and ensuring that we move forward in that realm to not only enhance the services for students within, but to recognize what is needed for the entire community as well.
Hi, Dr. Walters. My name is Crystal Reyes, and I'm the Director of Workforce Development for Western Wyoming Community College. I also sit on the Green River Chamber Board and the board for the Southwest Manufacturing Partnership. My question is, how would you balance transparency and confidentiality when making difficult decisions within the district?
I think the first thing when we talk about transparency and confidentiality, as with all things, you have to have a relationship, and not just any relationship, right? So we could say that we're going to be out there and we're going to be visible, but you have to develop a relationship that's built on trust. So when you're asked a question and you say, well, I can't discuss that, or no comment at this time, you have developed a relationship where folks are able to trust you to know that you can't at the moment. There's nothing we could share at the moment. However, because you have taken the time to invest in the community, to not only that, but to recognize the support, again, of administrators and staff, they know that if you could, you would. By doing that, you have to do several things. Do what you say you're going to do, show up and be visible, most certainly be accessible, and you have to be able to be honest. So you may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm still going to tell you the truth, and we could respectfully disagree. But you know that I'm consistent, I am there, and if I could, I would. So that's what it takes, just developing a relationship of trust, being open, being available, and ensuring that you're a person of your word. But it starts with trust.
My name is Bonnie Tippy. I have a small business downtown. My question is, how would you handle conflict resolution within the school district? And can you provide an example?
Starts with trust, right? I am not here to get you. We're not here to, again, the first thing that was said, we're not going to badger anyone, thankfully, thank you, right? But it starts with that relationship of trust building. Staff, students, the community, the board, so with everyone. From there, If I need to call someone in and speak to them, they know that there's no animus here. We're addressing an issue and we need to work as professionals. How have I done that in the past? I have had, I know this rarely happens. I've had two educators that didn't quite agree on how to teach a certain content. They might not have used the most professional language to each other, right? Rarely happens, right? So the same thing. One person is able to share their side, and you could always, I just said, I believe in, open door policy, being transparent, so you can, right? The other person is able to share their side, but what they're both going to do, and they didn't realize, you're going to share your perspectives in front of each other together with me. And that's what I do. I bring people to the table, even though it may be harsh, what you're hearing. I'm going to ask you to listen, just listen and receive the information, and we're going to unpack everything else. Again, it takes time to develop that trust, and it takes time for folks to realize no one is out to get you. We're trying to focus on the problem. Whatever that problem is, we need to solve it because our one focus is student excellence, and that's where it is. That's how you do it. By the way, they were able to work with each other afterwards, but they don't invite each other to each other's houses.
Good evening. My name is Inoa Ferrer. I am a local business owner here in Green River. I also serve on the Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism Board. My question for you this evening is, what strategies have you successfully implemented to improve student outcomes? How would you adapt them to our district's unique needs?
The first thing, I could share what I've done and I intend to, but the first thing is to learn more about the needs of the county, to see what is needed, and then developing a plan that way. That's the best way to approach it. And again, that goes back to getting everyone involved, listening not only to teachers and what they think, and this is what I said to the high school students earlier today, but to get their voice and their opinions as well, and also in focus and learning from the board what our visions are and how we work together. But what I have done in the past to ensure that students who they're not classified, so they're not considered special education students, I created a summer boost program for students who may struggle over the summer or who may have learning loss. And we were able to find money to pay the teachers. It didn't cost the district anything other than what we would have paid if the teachers came in and did work for us over the summer, but we aligned that with the summer boost program. Parents, again, the community effort, dropped their children off and they picked them up. So it was about 45 minutes of math intensive, 45 minutes of reading. And the outcome of that was there were no learning loss and students were able to start, especially those struggling readers and those who had were struggling with some parts of aspects of math. They were able to start on grade level with their peers. So that was a great thing in just getting them to where they need to be.
Good evening. My name is John Freeman. I'm the chairman of the Green River Greenbelt Task Force, a nonprofit to develop the area along the river. I'm also the treasurer of the Golden Heart Senior Citizen Center. I'm a recovering politician serving in the Wyoming legislature for 10 years. And if I want to make Steve Core laugh, I just have to say external cost adjustment. Green River is a close-knit community. How would you ensure a meaningful engagement with families who may not traditionally be involved in school decisions?
It is my belief that all parents want their children to be successful, right? That's my firm belief, and they have to prove to me otherwise. There are some families that are struggling. There are some families that are experiencing hardship, but it is my belief that all families want that for their children. Sometimes, for whatever reason, some are unavailable, and they may be unavailable for different reasons, so they may not participate to the extent that they would like. It doesn't mean that we don't continue to offer those opportunities, right? One day they may take us up on it. One day they may be available. So that we keep them informed right? And it's up to them to choose how they participate or what to participate, but we don't stop keeping them informed. We're not going to stop knocking on doors. And that's what I mean by that there. Also, we find different ways to just communicate with them through the student information system. So they continue to get information. We continue to do that. And we find different ways. We go to where they are. Parents are going to show up at graduation. That's where we're going to try to sell everything we have. We're going to showcase everything that we have. They're going to learn about it, right? If they're coming out to games, and I've heard about the great work the football team is doing here. So we're going to show up at the games, we're going to have information, and we're going to provide every opportunity possible. So we're going to meet them where they are. We're going to continue to send information. And even if you have superintendent tea and talk, superintendent coffee and chat, so you just provide different methods and we don't stop trying to get them engaged. There's something that we could do to get them out and to get them interested.
My name is Dan Stanton. I'm a local business owner and serve on several boards in the area. So question 7 is, what role do you see the school district in addressing workforce readiness and partnerships with local industries?
Will a one-word answer do? Significance. It's absolutely required. Regardless of whether students go on to college, careers, the armed services, they start their own businesses, it starts here, right? So we must make them ready. What does that look like? Partnership with all of you here. You're showing up because you're vested in the community. I've also shared where I was a part of an adopt a student program in my high school in New York City. And I have tried to adopt that approach as well to get business owners and members of the community to adapt to not only current needs and adopt students so that they could learn the business or different trades. So we also need to just recognize that there are different pathways to success and what that may look like. So again, learning from all of you what the needs may be, continuing to have you engage and be invested, and truly ensuring that students who leave here, we want them to remain a part of the community, whether they go and come back, this is always home, but college, careers, service, how exactly are we going to prepare them? Are they ready for life outside of here? Can they leave here and go and live on their own? So it starts here, and you absolutely need a voice where you're able to say, I have tried to hire 5 people and they're high school graduates and they can't read. Obviously, there's something that we need to do. So partnership, and it's very important what we do.
Okay. How do you prioritize budget allocations to ensure maximum benefit for students' learning and development?
I am glad that you're all here because here you are. And I think you all lead into question number 9, right? Very carefully, especially now where every cent counts. When you're managing and you're in charge of, funding sources, you have to consider and treat the money that we have as a school district, not as if it's your own, as if it belongs to someone else, and it does. So we must take very carefully our planning and fiscal responsibility, working very closely with the school business administrator, the bookkeeper, ensuring that we're spending money appropriately on what we're tasked to do, ensuring that there are no waste that we have, but also trying to limit any spending that we could either get from other sources, all of you here, right? If there's anything that we could get you all to sponsor, adopt a student, right? Adopt a school, right? So all of those avenues, but truly ensuring that you're going over each line when we're talking about fiscal responsibility. And I shared this earlier, I believe, with the teachers, ensuring that everyone is a participant in fiscal responsibility. Building administrators are aware of their individual school's budget, what that looks like. Teachers are aware of funding and what that also looks like. So we're all supporting each other with fiscal responsibility so that when you need to have those hard conversations, they may not like it. We talk about hard conversations, but at least they understand. I disagree, but I understand. We don't have the money for that at this time. That doesn't mean it's not a need. So that gets everyone into recognizing how we're spending, what we're spending on, and everyone being responsible.
What innovative strategies have you used to secure additional funding or grants for a school district?
You go out to the community, you share the programs that you currently have, the plans that you have, what you would like. At one point in the school district, they have Ed Camp. You could write a grant, they give you the money. You have to put up for like insurance to have different folks all over the state come and participate. I did a SPED camp, special education camp, where I contacted vendors myself. I got them to donate. I got different things, and it was just like a symposium where you're able to brainstorm and share and professional develop. I'm saying that to say you reach out to the community, you determine if there are any grants available. You try to not only share what you're doing, but you also follow up with, we need money for this, and this is why. We need funding for this, and this is why. So sometimes it's about sharing information with your community, first line. Then it's also trying to find grants that are available, and sometimes there are. So you write for those things, you share for those things. Partnering with neighbor counties, that as well. Trying to see if neighboring counties will come to you and get them to share a nominal fee, charge them, right? So all of those different things you're able to partner with, you're able to do grants, you're able to share with the community and try to see if there are any monies there. And you follow up with the state to see if they have anything additional, which the answer is usually no, but you try.
How would you support teachers and staff in implementing new teaching methods or technologies, particularly in a rural district?
I was able just briefly today, went over, I think I was able to cover most of the schools, at least those that were in town. There were 3 people that stood out to me that from central office to those schools, someone that has been here 50 years, someone that has been here and they were able to tell me, I've been here, I'm the second longest person, 38 years. And then I'm not sure if it's the third longest person, 27 years. What we need to recognize is that when you add all the years of experiences that are available in the district, small and rural, over 1,000 years of experience. So you may not have the answer, you may not know, but I'm quite sure as educators, as folks that have lived here, you have someone who either know another way, has additional information that you could tap into. So I am saying that all that to say, you use your resources that you have internally. You use your PLCs that the district has been able to, and very impressive, to schedule time in for intentional professional development. That is big. So you use professional development time to train, to fishbowl, to either support each other, to share information. And you also always, you look to see what's out there that is free, that could come to us. And I am all about working together, working with each other. How can we share with our neighbors, whether it's across the state lines or next door to us, to see what we're able to come together to learn and fishbowl. So we're not only benefiting here in Sweetwater District number 2, but Wyoming in general, right? And that's what you want to do. So simple, look internally at what you have, gain those master teachers that are doing it, and they have, and the person that have been here, I haven't seen anyone yet. I'm not sure if I would rather have said, I've been here a long time and they still excited. 38 years and she was high-fiving students walking into the classroom. Phenomenal, right? So you have those impressive things and those impressive people, you utilize them, you ask them why they still do it, what do they engage in, what are some resources that they're using, and you expand on that and you look to see what else is out there.
What steps, would you take to promote the mental health and the well-being of students and staff?
Not only social emotional learning, but just recognizing mental health and what that means. That's why it's important to be visible. That's why it's important to not only support administrators at their building level who may know more than you do because that's their daily experience, but to also recognize that some of our students, right, across the country are dealing with very adult stuff. Right? Some families are also in need of supports and services. So it's very important to be connected to the community, to ensure that you're engaged, to try to define and identify what resource we have community-wise that are able to support staff and students and have that readily available, and to support families as well. But to recognize that mental health, it is real. It is true. And sometimes we're so severely impacted that it doesn't allow us to meet our full potential, especially with staff. Well, especially with students, but with staff, they may be experiencing different things that may not afford them to deliver the superb instruction that they know they can because of different things. Recognizing that it does exist, supporting them where they are, and truly individualizing those supports so that they are not afraid, ashamed, or in fear of seeking help. So assist without judgment.
Small districts often struggle with attracting and retaining high-quality educators. What strategies would you implement to support, develop, and train teachers and staff within the district?
I'll say this, recruitment and retention, it's everyone's job, right? We're all selling Sweetwater District number 2 everywhere we go. We're a representative of the district. And even though you did not sign up for it, but yes, I'm telling you, you are. So that's what you're doing first. Recruitment and retention, they're tied together. So it's a lot easy to get someone to move here, right? I think so, if they choose to come, right? So you have that. But how do we keep them once they're here? You treat people with respect. You get people to feel a sense of belonging. Right. When I worked in very Southern Virginia, there was a running joke that we want to get folks here, get them hitched and then married, and then they're tied to the county. Right. But you want to get people anchored to the community. And that's how you get them vested. You recruit, you work on retention immediately and consistently. You want to check in with people, and it's a practice that I currently do. I check in just to check in. And my check-in could be an email. I'm coming and it's a visit. I just want to know how you're doing. I really just want to know how you're doing. And it's always a joy for me to come out and see students and learn about the teacher's experience. So that's something that you do. You also want to grow your own. You also want to see where we are. What can we do? We partner with not only the community college, but we want to partner with colleges at the state level and across the border if we need to get folks here. You want to be visible and out there in different recruitment fairs, not only virtual, but in person. And you're absolutely selling the county wherever you go. This is not only a great place to work, it's a great place to live. Do you know that we have all of these things? And that's how you do that. I'm trying to see if I covered all of those parts. So I do check-ins just to check-ins. I intentionally visit. I do my own professional development. I do staff recognition. Sometimes I do, they know I cook myself, I prepare it, and we go all out. Champagne glasses, no champagne, no alcohol, please. Right, so we do all of that. And it's really just, again, with servant leadership, you're showing that I respect you and I respect the work that you do. And I know you could choose to be anywhere, but you have chosen here. Thank you. And it's those small gestures that you do, and you provide opportunities, which is currently being done here, for staff to connect. so that if they're feeling burnt out, it's not a witching session, but they're able to, I had, a rough experience today, and this is what happened. Have you? And they're able to unpack that together, but you're able to develop those relationships to ensure that support is across the board.
How do you plan to support extracurricular programs, including athletics, arts, clubs, while maintaining a strong academic focus?
I think that takes the support of building administrators, right? And absolutely parents in the community. We must recognize that intelligence comes in different forms, right? I may not be the most athletic person, and I'm not, right? But you do have stellar athletes. College is only one means to show intelligence. College shows perseverance. You do have students, and when I met again with the high school team who were very impressive with that group that I met, one of the students asked about CTE. One of the students asked about a student who may be not motivated, but it's not because of intelligence. It's just trying to connect with students, as we have said here, at different levels and different ways so that they're able to shine. Academics, absolutely, we need to do that. And as members of the Chamber of Commerce, and you're out there as business owners, we want someone to graduate to be able to read, but we want them to be able to be healthy, right? So when we talk about mental health, so everything has its place. And we want to not only share that, we want to reinforce that as well. So yes, we have high standards. We expect this here, but here are other opportunities that you have to also shine. So you may not be an A student, you may be a C student, but on the field, you may be an A at whatever it is you choose to do. So we want to recognize both avenues for student success, and we want to be able to support all and get the community in that as well. So they're not only supporting students academically, they're supporting athletically and other forms like I talked about CTE a minute ago as well, that students may have to show that they're great at different things.
So we're on question 14, our last one for this group. Can you provide an example of how you have successfully partnered with local businesses or organizations to benefit a school district?
So when I partnered with the local ShopRite supermarket in New Jersey to donate on behalf of programs that we had, and this was through the SPED Camp program, I went in, I shared with them what my idea was, and it was just an idea. And they were, as long as they knew what it was for, and I usually go in, and please rest assured, I would do this to all of you here. I would go in and I would share the idea, why I believe it's vital, what the students would get out of it, and what the district would get out of it. So you're vested members in ensuring that. So I've done that. I have also done other things to promote staff development as well, so that they could do the best job for the students. I went to local businesses. In Maryland, they had like the Yogi Berra. It's like a wilderness resort type of. So I did that. I went in, not on school time, off school time, share what I would like to do. I would like to create like an obstacle course for staff development so that they could unwind. And so we're going to do professional development there. I have gone to local eateries again in the county. I have told them what my plan is to have professional development. I'm going to pay for whatever we eat, no alcohol, they pay for their own alcohol. And it's just an opportunity for them to unwind and for us to unpack educational strategies and style and work ahead. I have not gone to any businesses that I've ever gone to and shared an idea that they haven't said, absolutely, right? We're not going to give you the entire room, the entire floor, but this is what we're able to do. How much do you need? I have gone to restaurants and I've told them I am putting something on for staff, right? So that's for a staff reward. I am paying out of pocket. They usually send more because that's their way of going back. So again, it's just recognizing first the community, what they're able to contribute. Very similar to my belief about parents. I believe, and I hold fast to that belief, that most parents, they do want the best for their children. And I believe that all staff do want to be great educators. We just need to recognize, provide the opportunities to do so, and even as business owners, to provide opportunities to help as best as possible, and they'll show up and they'll do it.
We will now close out this evening with closing remarks from the candidate. You will have 5 minutes for your closing remarks, and I will keep track of your time.
No pressure. Again, I am Annette G. Walters. I've had a wealth of experience across the board from pre-K all the way up through college, taught every grade level, elementary, middle, high. I still enjoy teaching, and I still have, I believe, a lot to contribute. I have chosen to apply here to this community because of what I have seen and researched so far about the great work that's being done. I would like to be a part of just taking that to the next level with the vision for the future and enhancing that experience for all students here. Thus far, I've had a phenomenal experience. I have learned about the community. I have worked in every area from urban. They believe that they were suburban, but they were more rural, urban, suburban. And I continue to have a great time in education.
On behalf of the Green River Chamber, we would like to say thank you to the candidate, the panelists, and everyone for being here this evening. We really appreciate your participation and have a great night.
Thank you so much.